Good afternoon, Carlene Davis. Good afternoon to
Good
you.
good afternoon, Clinton. Boy, it's awesome. It's an awesome day. Yes,
It,
yes.
it is. It's good to hear your voice, you know. And you sent me this new tune the other day, and I'm like, wow, we need this song.
Really
Yes. And I tell you, your fans are really requesting this song. You know,
awesome.
I read the story. I carried the story. You've got a friend.
Mm.
You recorded this song. Was it last year?
Last year, and this is how I know when God, you just finished playing assignment, the song, and I'm just saying, this is how the Lord works. He speaks to you, you do the assignment, and then He opens the door when the assignment must be unleashed, must be put in position. And
Right,
this is what happened to the song. We recorded it, and we sat and we didn't pay much attention to it because there were other things to do.
right,
And then around May, end of April, May, you're listing things to do for the month of May. I'm just being really real.
right.
And then as Tommy said, I said, what are we going to do? We need to do something. We're not, the studio is closed down, our personal studio. We weren't bringing anyone in the house due to,
Right,
you
right,
know,
right. Oh,
physical distancing and all that.
right.
And Tommy says, well, we have a song. Let's do it. And I I am amazed because you called me. I hadn't even seen the press release. And our first phone call the morning of the release was from you.
Right.
Even before I saw yeah. And I'm saying, how do you know that?
Oh,
And then I realized that
they
it was
s-
online.
it was online. They sent me stuff, Carly. They
Oh
sent
my
me
God. And for you to have responded and as I heard your voice just now, I'm telling you, I just had a flashback
what?
of many many years ago. I mean, the relationship and the fact that you are still doing it and we're still communicated. I'm still able to call you. You're still able to call me, and we can discuss and talk about
Oh,
positive music that inspires. That's
right.
the flashback I had.
Oh, that is
From
so
back in the
sweet.
day of
From
New
back
York to now. You
to
know what I
now,
mean?
we're still doing it. And we were talking about that with Russell just now. That you know, there's something going on where people are looking back at veterans like me and other people that started this thing so many years ago. We just lost Gil Bailey a couple months ago, and
Right.
it just like something in the air, and it's kind of good after so many years, Carlene, to be still
That you're still
recognized.
passionate. You're still passionate
Yes.
about what you're doing, and that's what when there's purpose on your life, it's not a job. It's your work.
Um,
Because God has put us on the earth to work, and no man can fire you from your work.
that's a nice way of putting it, and
Them can fire you from your job, but they
can
can't fire you from.
firework. Hey, I'm gonna use. You don't mind if I use that one, do you?
Well, you can ask Tommy. Tommy always say that. I'm speaking
You,
for Tommy
oh, you're
right
stealing
now.
a line from him.
I stole a line.
No, but you you
Yeah.
you also you've been around. I remember the first time I saw you was 1980 in New York
Ooh.
City, and I bet you can't tell me where that was.
It was at Beacon Theater.
Exactly, at the Beacon Theater.
Oh. I, I
Carlin,
was still I was still traveling between Canada, Jamaica. I hadn't made my final, return. I was kind of testing the Jamaican music waters.
right.
And yeah, it was with Dennis Brown at
Dennis,
Beacon Theater.
you remember that show at the Beacon
Of
Theater?
course.
And when you pull the harder they come, because we have never heard the harder they come done that way before. As a matter of fact, you may be the first person to do it over, you know, in 1980,
Ooh.
and that was Ken Williams. Now he had fun with that song because nobody else had it. It was all
Yes.
Ken Williams. It was just morning, noon, and night playing that song.
Yes.
And we said, we got to see who is this Carlene Davis. And I went to the Beacon Theater, 1980, my dear. You
Well,
open.
but you know how he met me then? It was from Sunsplash,
Ah,
Kingston. It was the first time that, they were doing Sunsplash in Kingston at Randy Williams Center. And Peter Tosh was the leading act. and I performed. I was visiting Jamaica, and I got invited
So where were
to
you living at the
sing.
time? In Canada?
I was still in Canada, but
Okay.
spending some ground time in Jamaica.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Harder They Come was now playing in Jamaica,
Hmm.
and that's how it's out of that song. And Ken heard me and said, "Man, I have a show coming up. Would you be, So he approached at the time. Babsy was managing me,
Okay.
and that's how I ended up at Beacon Theatre. And of course, I think Tommy was on tour with Bob Marley. That's why
Okay.
Bob wasn't on the show.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
You have good
But
memories, though. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
that's the foundation. And then I ended up doing a second night at Sunsplash.
Ah.
I did the Wednesday night, which was like opening night, and however I did it, Tony Johnson and the team says, "No, man, we have to have her back," and they put me on Saturday night.
So you may be one of the few artists that perform twice.
I don't think there's
Eh, eh,
ever. I was told by the management, the synergy group, that it
hey,
never happened.
Carlene, this is a nice piece of trivia for me. I'm into trivia. Name the only artist that perform in one Sunsplash that 19
In
that was about
one in the
78.
in production, in the
Yes,
one production, and that was
78, 79.
1980.
1980.
Yes,
You performed
yes,
twice. As bad
yes.
as Dennis Brown was, he didn't do that. No
Maybe he was
Dennis
too
Brown, no
busy.
Gregory, no Third World, Carlene Davis. Wow, that's.
Whatever I did, it moved the hearts of the people, of the producers,
Listen,
and
let me.
that was a sign for me to settle down and say it's time. It really was confirming that, yeah, man, there's something here for me, in Jamaica. And that's what inspired me to come back home.
Let me
The
let,
signs were there.
let me take you back one more memory. This is another
Yeah.
memory. 1982 came to Jamaica
Hmm.
for Reggae Sunsplash and the festival and all of that. And I didn't know you per se then. I didn't know where to look. But you entered the festival song with one people. And I swear, Carlene, that was stolen from you. 'Cause that was, I couldn't believe whatever song it was. Some other
No,
song.
okay. Let me tell you the song that I entered with, and you're touching on a subject that not many people know that I had participated. I'd entered the Jamaica Festival Song Competition. The song was called "Love and Harmony." That was the entrance, the song.
Love and Harmony. Okay.
Yeah, but the song "One People," we did it to commemorate uh, our independence, and I'm trying to
Okay.
21 or 21st and independence celebration. That's what that "One People" was for.
Okay. I thought it was
It
a
was
festival
written.
song. I wanted was to, meet you and pat you on the shoulder and say, I'm so sorry, Carl. but that was,
Yes,
who
and
wrote that song?
it was written by a friend of mine. I met her and we used to do a lot of hang out together. And she was somebody, she did poetry and all that. Her name is Pat Prasad. I think she had moved to Canada, Jamaican. And she kept coming to me and said, "What do you think of this song? What do you think?" And I said, "I love it."
And
You
Carlene,
know,
go ahead, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you are touching on some areas that, because of this lockdown, I'm going back.
You're
Just like you
going
were
back.
saying, you're reflecting,
Yes,
pulling up,
yes,
looking at, and say, what can be done with these songs? Because there's a generation that needs to hear it.
exactly.
And a lot of people will hear it and don't connect it to me, and that's what led me to do
You
praising God.
nice. Oh yeah,
Coming from
yes,
coming from the stealing love to praising God, because there are people who love the song but didn't connect it to me, and whatever led me was out of an engagement I had I might have shared with you in Barbados, and they were promoting stealing love, and I said, guys, I'm now a child of the King. I'm serving the Lord. I don't do that song. I don't want to do that song.
right, right,
But here's a version of it that really brings honor to the Lord. And that's what led me to do it, because I realized there are people who are still not connecting the dots.
right, right.
And so I'm encouraged to hear you going back there, because it's the same page I'm on right
Oh,
now.
now let me ask you this. With the festival. Now that we are talking about festival, What are your thoughts with this year festival with the big names trying to get back in to give it a shot in the arm? What are your thoughts?
I think it's a great move because the festival competition kind of got a little laid back because there's so much music out there. Look at it.
Mm-hmm.
This generation, there's music coming from every
Angle,
angle,
right.
anywhere in the world because of social media and internet and the whole digital platform and everything. And I mean, everybody watches The Voice. Everybody watches America Got Talent. Everybody watch. Ah, nobody's watching Jamaica Festival competition, and it is one of our greatest platforms for, where so many of our great
Right,
artists
right, right.
came out of, like Toots and the Maytals, Desmond Deck and the Aces, Eric Donaldson,
The Jamaicans.
um,
The
huh?
Jamaicans.
The Jamaicans, Hopeton Lewis.
Upton Lewis.
I mean, you
Eric
name it. Even,
Donaldson.
right. I mean, even Bob had entered. Bob had
Yes.
entered a song,
Um,
People
um,
don't know that.
yeah,
But
1968.
yes, he did. He did. And I
Uh,
believe Rita had entered as well.
yes.
I'm trying to remember.
The
And
Gaelics.
I entered, which many people didn't know. So I'm saying this was the platform to get exposure. But that it is still the platform to get exposure for the emerging artists.
Right, right.
But it kind of lost its energy. And
Over
I
the
believe the
years.
minister, right, the minister is the same because people start looking outward and stop looking at what is here.
Right,
And
right.
Minister Batsy said, no, man, he brought a lot of us together and said, listen, what can we do? I want something to happen. And, she had done it before when she took on Minister of Culture, when she came back from Canada
Mm-hmm.
in the 80s.
Right,
She did
right.
the very same thing. She called on Tommy and a group of people and said, let's go to the 14 parish. So the competition took on a whole
Whole
new
meaning.
thing and
Mm-hmm.
started touring the island and doing outdoor concerts, which was before it used to be indoors. And people thought, wow, that can never work. And it blew everybody out of the
So
water,
you're giving it your full endorsement that
I'm giving my full endorsement. I think, well, for me, for Abuju, for Freddie,
Freddie,
for
Michigan,
Lust,
Los,
um, who else
Toots,
is there? Toot, for them to, yeah, and Toot, for them to want it's contributing to the building of our entertainment industry. I
right,
can't say it any
right,
other way, because
right.
they don't have to do it. They don't have to do
Of
it.
course not. Of course not. Um,
They already have their platform, but I think it's contributing to taking this music to the next level.
would
And we
you,
need to do that for the next
sure,
generation.
if called upon, would you in the future submit a song for it?
I thought of it. I thought of it, but I said, I'm cool. I'm okay because I could have, because I had an opportunity from the early, stage of
But in the future, would you?
I wouldn't say no. I
Okay,
would never say no. And guess what? When this was being prepared, it was long before COVID. So let me just clear that up. With
okay,
it's not because the musicians can't travel, the singers can't travel, and this is what is happening. No, the idea was birthed from I think January.
wow. And
I think
some
yeah.
people do say it's because of the covert.
No, no, because can I say I was in a meeting and Buju came by and we were like, Buju? We were happy to see him there and he made his point and he said, listen man, don't be surprised if me do something
So
just
it
like
in
that,
a
and he
one
walked
song.
out of the meeting. And this was long before Reggae Month. Reggae Month was
Oh,
for
in
February. This
February,
was
yes.
before Reggae Month, before all of that. So I just think it was great. It was wisdom and it worked. It's
It
working.
worked because
It's,
for the first time in many years, I've heard, so all of these jockeys all over just playing these songs. In the
exactly.
past,
And
it was never something that they,
it
anybody.
wouldn't be that far reaching,
Nah, nah.
exactly, because they had so much more to choose
That is
from,
true.
you
That
know.
is true.
And
Uh,
and guess what? The year I entered was amazing. There was polio outbreak. Remember in that year?
oh,
And so we started touring, and then we had to come off the road, and the final night was done at JBC. At the time, it was JBC
mm,
studio. So we had a huge audience because we couldn't go on the road,
Couldn't
we
go on
couldn't
the road.
gather because of the
Hey,
polio outbreak. And here it is
here it
happening
is.
again.
Yeah, history repeats itself.
Yes,
Carlene, I couldn't have you on the air and don't bring up, you're a little mini me. Little mini me.
mini me, I like that.
You're like, what the heck is happening with your daughter Naomi? Come on, she is
Oh,
just blowing up the place. Congratulations. She looks like
thank
you, she
you.
sounds like you.
What is so amazing, Clinton? I give God thanks. I really have to say to God be the glory because it wasn't my intention. She's the one who came to me and said, "Mom, I'm going to do this." She saw us. She participated with me, and she has been on a lot of my albums and
Right,
collabing with me
yes.
over the years. She has appeared with me live, but she went and did her master's and in communication and radio and television broadcasting and production. So she can stand before the camera and she can stand behind the camera. So
You know,
I thought she was going to have a huge
that
television
right. But I saw
career,
her.
but
I saw.
not in this way.
But I saw her with that Together We Stand marathon. You remember that? She was one of
Yes,
the hosts, and she was very
and she sang.
comfortable talking to the prime minister. I'm like, this girl has a future in communications, in the
Yes,
media.
yes, she's very good. She's very relaxed in that setting. So um, I'm just grateful, and that even what you're seeing, the image. Can I tell you? I've never said go put some braids in or go do your hair this way or go wear
Really,
this clothes.
really,
She just naturally has this desire to dress that way. And when she sends me picture, I said, "Where'd you get that picture of me?" She says, "No, Mom, that's me." And I'm
wow,
going, and even people are collabing with her in designing the video, preparing the video. There's some things in even the Paradise Slum video has some the look of Dial My Number video, and those
exactly.
people who produced it don't know nothing about my
No,
video.
you remember when I first got this song? I don't remember who said it to me. It could be you or Tommy, and I'm like, I was blown away with this song. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna be working this song like it's my own daughter, and I'm so glad
Oh,
this song took off the way it did. One of the biggest songs in quite a while for any artist. Cause even today we still get requests for this Paradise
yes,
Plum.
and even when she does Europe, and what she gets excited is when the little kids post them singing it.
Yes, yes,
She
yes.
gets so excited, and because she really has a love for young, especially young girls, and
Right, right.
she does a lot of community work with young girls, where she goes into the school part of a ministry, and she goes into just to share and to encourage.
Nice,
We're
nice.
on a break now because of all of this,
Uh,
but
when she comes
yeah.
to you for advice, does she ever come to you or come to Tommy or both of you? Which one she goes to for advice?
She does both. She goes to Tommy from the business point of view. She's
Ah,
always, trying to, and they sit, and of course, my husband is a teacher. He's a mentor. He's the moment you
yes.
come, you can't. He pours himself
I,
into in.
listen, I said earlier on, I kind of feel a way when I have to talk to Tommy to get, to talk to you, and I don't invite Tommy on the ear. And I'm gonna try to do that next week. 'Cause this man has such a rich history.
He really does, and I'm not saying it because I see the depth, and even the kind of people who will come around who will seek him out or would call him and say, "Can you remind me of so and so?" And it's like, "Oh, I was there, and I remember when so and so, and I remember,"
Right,
and
right,
I'm saying, "Really?" And there's always something fresh and new that I wasn't made aware of
right,
before.
right. No, he does it
It-
all. I mean, the guy, songwriter, singer, producer, manager, MC,
Distributor.
distributor,
I mean,
talent,
when
song.
he talks about his time with Baron Lee
Barely.
and Dynamic Sound, I mean, that's where he really got started. And between him and
Yeah,
the Kuri,
the Corey brothers, Paul and
and
the
then
other one,
exactly, then he moved from
Richard.
there to Sonic. He worked also with Neville Lee,
No,
and
he
then
has
of
a
course,
rich history. I mean,
Then
management,
Talent Corporation, where it
talent,
was Inner
yes,
Circle, Jacob
Miller,
Miller,
Junior
um,
Tucker,
Junior
Dennis
Tucker, Ras
Brown,
Michael, and the
Ross
Sons of
Mike.
Negus.
No, I
Oh
gotta
my
talk,
God.
Carlene. I have to talk to. I have to give
You
him
have
this
to
spot.
talk
Yeah,
to
I have
him.
to talk to him. Okay, Carlene. Two things I
Yes,
want to
sir.
address with this song. This song,
Huh?
there are two things I want to discuss with you about this song.
Yes.
Um, why did you why did you feel it was fitting to do this tribute to Bob Marley?
Well, when you think of Tommy, who worked so closely with Bob, Tommy was one of the men behind the scenes, and he would always share the time that they would have together in those quiet moments where they're away from the madding crowd, the photographer, the press, and the
Mm-hmm.
musicians, and it's just him and Bob might go off somewhere, go hang out somewhere,
Right, right, right.
and he would share those innermost thoughts. And
Oh, okay.
I guess it was out of that Tommy, in his reflection, being with Bob, he would say, if Bob was here, I know he would have done this, he would have said this, he would have this concern.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because as you know, his concert in Zimbabwe that became not Zimbabwe, no,
Yeah,
Rhodesia.
It was
Yeah,
Rhodesia turning
Rhodesia,
into
and then it
Zimbabwe.
became
Hmm.
the plane that he flew himself.
Right, he
He
chartered his own
private
flight. Hmm.
plane and everything, and paid for the concert and everything. He he didn't allow the flight to go over South Africa
Wow, that's a longer trip.
be, because of how what the whole thing of
Okay.
the fight against apartheid.
See,
I guess maybe say, huh?
you see, when I talk to people like you, I learn so much. That not to fly over South Africa, detour that plane gonna cost more because
More.
they're going out of the range. And hey, that's a good one. That's
Exactly.
another trivia. The next part of this is
Exactly.
you
And
mentioned.
and and
Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
No, no, you
So it was
finish.
out of that in my conversation with Tommy. Now he's writing and I'm interpreting what he's hearing or what he's feeling.
Wow.
That's what led me to do it. And of course, this was a pre to the other songs against apartheid.
And that's where I'm gonna go next. You mentioned
Okay,
in this song that and still Mandela is not free, and then you follow up
exactly,
with Winnie Mandela.
exactly.
You're a militant, you're activist. What's going on with this one?
Well, I'm an activist in terms of my creativity. I believe in speaking out for the oppressed. You know, be a voice for those who feel hopeless and voiceless in the midst of um, whatever they might be
Right,
going
right.
through. We have an opportunity where we are as a people, as a nation. We have a sound. God has given us a sound, and we can use it. And people like Bob, Peter Tosh, Bunny Wailer,
Right.
and Jimmy Cliff, and many others before helped to pave the way for us. I remember Jimmy Cliff did a song about Vietnam. You remember?
Oh yes, Bob
Right,
Dylan wish he wrote it. Bob, Bob
right,
Dylan say it's the best anti-war song you have ever heard.
right. And even Jamaicans did a song called "The People of This World Are
Yes.
Studying War,
Oh yes.
don't want no war no more." So for me, people knew me as the lovers rock person. You understand?
Hmm.
And then it's like as you mature and you start reading and you realize. For me, the whole thing with apartheid and Winnie. I remember there was a season. All I saw was Winnie being attacked,
Yes,
being
yes, I remember
called
that.
this, being
Right,
thrown
right,
in
right.
prison, and
Yes.
da 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 da, da all of that. And out of that, we started doing our own research. And I remember we came back from tour with a book one year, a book on her life, an autobiography that says, "Part of my soul went with him." So it was her story of how she dealt with having her husband behind bars. And she said when she met him and married him, she would realize that she was marrying the cause,
Wow.
the fight.
The
She
question is,
understood that from day one. Huh?
when they came to Jamaica 1991, I think it was, did you get a
Yes.
chance to meet them?
Of course, praise God. That for me, that's a big moment for me because the apartheid seemed to have been going on forever, and you just never thought the time would come that you would experience the release of Mandela and the freedom in South Africa
Right,
for,
right.
for, for, for blacks to be able to vote and all of that. We just never thought it. We just kept doing what we knew, what we could do from where we are. And when what's her name? Winnie said
Mhm.
it was your music, the
So,
music
so
of Jamaica. That's
they
what.
were aware of what reggae was doing for Winnie and
Yes,
for
of
Mandela. They
course.
were
She
aware.
said when they were banished to the back of nowhere, and can't, so that they wouldn't come out and march and protest. She said it was music, like the music from Jamaica. They would just put
Oh
their little
my
cassette machine
goodness,
to their
really?
ears. Yes, and she said they couldn't play it loud or else it would be taken from them,
Right.
or they could be fined
Oh,
for playing the music because it was a music to inspire them to keep on fighting and believing. The idea is to cause their mind to be so oppressed that
right.
they would never consider that they'll be free. That's the whole idea,
So
to keep you so oppressed.
our music kept them going. That's what you're saying.
That's what she said. That's
Wow.
what she said.
We are
And I remember when Nelson, when they were coming in the motorcade into the National Stadium, I remember on stage and backstage waiting my turn to sing, and Third World and the band and the musicians were setting up. And the idea, I had a specific point where I would sing, "Welcome home, Mr. Mandela, welcome." But there was such an uproar in the stadium that the people were running and whatever. They had to quickly pull me on stage way before my time and have me sing the song with all the musicians there and the rest of the singers, just to avert any major.
Carlene, you see, when you talk to someone like me, I'm well prepared, Don't think so.
Me tell you, I'm just saying, you are just hitting it right on. You're in key, in tune.
No, I follow your career, and
Thank you so much.
I'm a historian in this business. I learn
I'm
and
telling you.
I read a lot like you. Let me tell you something. One time I was coming down for Reggae Sunsplash, and you and I was on the same year, Jamaica. In those days, they would stop in Montego Bay. People would get on and get off, but you were going into Kingston. And most people, they disembark and go into the lounge and settle. You sat on
Yeah.
that plane reading a book. You were just reading and reading. And you were just reading. So I realized came off, went into the in transit lounge for whatever, 20 minutes, whatever. And when I came back on the flight, you were still sitting there reading. And I'm like, this woman loves to read.
Oh my goodness. I didn't realize that I was being scrutinized like that.
No, because hey, Carlene Davis. I say hi, Carlene, and you say hi, and I came off, and I thought you were waiting for everybody to get off and be the last to get off, but you did not. When I came back on now, ready to depart, you were still sitting there reading a book. And I'm sure you're from that
That-
generation when them tell you, even though nothing better for you do, can read a book.
Trust me, I love the idea of when I fly, it's my chance of locking myself away. Because where can you go? Apart from going to the bathroom, there's nowhere to go.
And you just get yourself lost in a book. Just go.
In a book, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
that
That's
was
me.
funny. That was so funny. Cause they came on the plane, they clean up the plane. They come and they go cleaning up, and you were the only one passenger on the plane. And I'm like, anyhow, listen, Carlene, we could go on and on.
Oh,
Let me ask you, you working on an album? What's next for Carlene Davis?
well, you know, I'm gonna surprise you because you've touched on some things,
Uh oh.
and you've touched on some things that I'm in the process of doing, but I
Oh.
can't say.
All right, all right.
But you be,
I
since we
mean,
have this rapport going, you'll be the first to know. You'll be
to
one of the first to know because I understand that you're tuned into, like I said, you're a historian, so
yes.
you will be able to relate to
Okay.
what I'm gonna do. And therefore, when the song came out, when we decided to put out "You've Got a Friend," I said to my husband, "Okay, so it is really tying in with this desire that I've had for several years." And my husband wasn't taking me on, but I think I said, "Well, now is the time.
Now is the
Now that
time.
you've decided exactly." So I'll give you more as it develops.
Right, right. And tell Tommy, I'm definitely gonna be hooking him up next week because people want to hear his story as much.
He has a lot. He
And
has
he
a
has
lot.
a lot.
Trust
He
me.
has a lot.
Can I tell you, last week, if I might say, last week a young girl came by to see us and to discuss there's something she has a desire to do. And she said, "Uncle Tommy, you don't understand what you just did. I am leaving here so full." He says, "People my age need to hear more of you. You
Yes.
need to set up a platform because what you just said to me, I'm so excited and motivated. This is just too much."
Nice,
So,
nice.
yeah.
I'm gonna hook him up next week. This time next week will be Tommy Coward. How about
All
that?
right. I look forward to that. I'll just give him a buzz and
I'll let
set it
him
up.
know.
But praise God, I thank you, Clinton. I thank you for your work, and I just pray God's divine covering over you
Thank
and
you.
over your listeners and those who have stood with you over the years and those that have come on board and recognize the importance and the legacy that is upon you. I pray that even during this time as we physically are distant, that we'll continue to stay in touch. And what better way than on radio?
On the
You
radio.
know, this is the best way to stay connected. And I just want to encourage that you all stay healthy and stay just oh man nothing but love during this time. You hear me?
Thank you
Oh man
very much.
nothing but love.
Thank you very much, Carlene Davis. And we'll
Yes.
be talking soon. Say hello to Tommy. Say hello to Naomi. And you take care. Be safe.
Yes. Be safe.
All right.
God bless you too. Take care. Bye bye.
Hi, I'm Clinton Lindsay. Thanks for visiting my YouTube channel and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Spread the word and visit us once again. Thank you very much.